It's so fun when you're doing new things, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's always
Mm-hmm.
fun. All
Absolutely.
right. Yeah, we've got everybody starting to kind of roll in here. I'm gonna get started. It is 10 o'clock. Um, and so we're gonna get started. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule today to attend the WIOA Bidders Conference for our youth programs. It's 10 a.m., so let's just, we have some folks filing in right now, so we're going to just get started. Um, here we go. So my name is Sheena Clark, and I am the project manager here at the WDC, or the Workforce Development Council, and I oversee the youth portfolio. Um, I, my colleague and co-producer of the webinar is Alice Kim, and she will be monitoring the Q&A. And if you want to share your information as far as your name and organization that you are with in the chat, please feel free to do so. We want to make sure that this space is also a space for us to connect in the future outside of the Bidders Conference today. A few housekeeping things to keep in mind. We have quite a few slides in this presentation. So to minimize background noise, please remain muted. We want to ensure that we compile and address our questions that we have in the Bidders Conference. So based on the number of attendees, I feel like the best way to do that is to have you submit them in the Q&A. And then or you can submit them through the proposals at seekingwdc.org. And then we'll get those questions answered for you with definitive answers. And then we'll be uploading all of that information on Fridays to our website until the question period closes. Okay, so there's a recording going on right now, so the presentation is recorded and will be uploaded to the website as well. Here is our agenda today. So we'll dig through these topics: background, contracts, including timeline, budget, eligibility, program design, and then application process, and then our questions process, which I just gave you a little sneak peek of. Hopefully, we'll have some time to answer some questions during the conference, the Bidders Conference. Um, and then we have a partnership opportunity that we are very, very excited about. So please stick around for the entire presentation as we have a special guest partner who will be presenting Danny Harula at King County. And I am absolutely sure that you're going to want to hear more about this partnership opportunity. Okay, so if you want to follow along with the RFP information, it is on our website. This way you can, as I'm speaking through these different slides or these different topics, you're able to follow along and pull out some questions that you may have or get some confirmations on where things are in that RFP. All the information is pretty much identical. I'll just be giving a high level overview of what's in the RFP. And we'll start with our background. Just a little bit about WIOA, or WIOA. We call it WIOA. There's a lot of different, names for it. Sometimes it's WIOA, WIOA, WIOA. So I'll just go with WIOA, which is what I'm used to calling it. But the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So it's a federal program funded through the U.S. Department of Labor. The U.S. Department of Labor, or the DOL, allocates WIOA funding to states based on factors like employment and disadvantaged populations, including youth. The states, in this case, the state is, or we identify the state as the Employment Security Department. They distribute these funds to local workforce areas, and then a portion of those are reserved for statewide initiatives that support job training and employment services. So, in this case, it's workforce youth workforce development. So the WDC oversees the WIOA implementation, ensuring funding supports programs that help both adults and young people gain skills and employment opportunities. The WDC then allocates funding to youth programs and services to assist youth in preparing for careers. Some of the WIOA goals, or the four main goals, is to increase access to education, attain credentials, and then prepare prepare youth for post-secondary and advanced training, and secure employment with career pathway opportunities. So I put these links here, but I'm not sure if you guys can even access those links. But if you ever want to go to the website and kind of peruse some of the information on those, you are able to do so with this information here. So as we dug deeper into who we were serving, we got some data from our internal team, and this is what we learned. Nearly 27% of King County residents lack education credentials, such as a high school diploma or a degree by the age of 25. Southern King County has a significant disparities in educational attainment, and we learned that those were specific to Tukwila, SeaTac, Skyway. I think White Center was in there as well, and that too is that information is also in our RFP, where you can look at those different communities that kind of fall into this category. So we really want to close those education and workforce gaps by improving outreach and retention strategies to ensure that there's access to those marginalized communities. And some of you are in a lot of these areas, so it's going to be really. I'm really excited to hear about how when you're submitting your proposals, how this will be addressed. So access to opportunity is also a part of our strategic alignment or strategic goals. So in the WDC strategic plan, we really focus on centering racial equity, post-COVID recovery now, and focusing on BIPOC, immigrant, and refugee communities. Our two North Stars include equitable recovery and job quality. And then this RFP addresses really just the saturation of resources across King County, all four corners of King County, and then participant linkages to career and educational pathways. The RFP goals, again, community-centered engagement. So building more outreach strategies to underrepresented communities, and really being able to address the needs that youth of color experience, ensuring work experiences are high quality and linked to employers and pathways and in-demand fields. So really looking at those onboarding next steps after training has been received. WIOA does require 20% expenditure on work experiences, which means that 20% of the funding that you will receive will go specifically to work experiences for youth or to the to building out and building partnerships with opportunities for a work experience. And then we also want to embed youth voice in the planning process and delivery. There's been many different ways to do this, but just realizing that when youth are involved in the things that directly affect them, we have seen that there are better outcomes. So we do definitely want to ensure that youth voice is very present, and would love to hear how you plan to do those things through this RFP. And then one of the most important, I think, is the service navigation and support. So case management best practices, and that is from, when youth enrolls in the program until they exit the program, and then get follow up after the program. So what type of practices are in place? We really want to hone in on those case management best practices, just to understand, when we're receiving information from our youth or from case managers on different barriers and things like that, we have a full understanding of what type of support is needed. So case management is very pivotal in ensuring that the program is successful. Next, we're going to go into contract requirements. This is probably going to be the meat of the presentation today. So starting with our timeline, we had a short turnaround time for our planning and design on this. I think we've had a lot of conversations on where we wanted to take our youth programs coming out of the pandemic, and then just into this hybrid model. There's a lot of different approaches to helping and serving youth now that we want to really focus on, and specifically job quality. So, this, even though the planning piece of this was pretty short, we have been talking about and strategizing over this for some time now. So the RFP released, as you all know, January 22nd. Today we are here at the Bidders Conference. And then next up is the questions are going to be due on the 12th of February. So again, please put your questions in the chat so that everyone is able to see those questions and we can compile and drill them down and then have those answers for you. The proposal deadline is on February 18th. We know that Monday is a holiday, I believe, for some. So February 18th is the proposal deadline at 11:59 p.m. So you have the full day. We don't want to cut it off at 5 p.m. We have the full day for you to submit your proposals. And then our anticipated award notification is March 21st. I think that's depending on our next board meeting. And then from May to June, we will proceed with the partner onboarding process. So that's just getting you ramped up and ready for the program year because it starts July 1. So we want to make sure that you are ready and set to go. And we will definitely be providing technical assistance, especially in the first 2-3 months of the program, just because we know that that's our ramp up time. Okay, so the available funding. So WIOA breaks down the funding into two categories: in-school youth and out-of-school youth. You will be applying for both in-school and out-of-school with this one. Typically, we have an 80-20 split. We are still in the process of understanding if we are going with that 80-20 split or if we're doing the 50-50. And what that means is this funding will be broken up into how you will, based on who you're serving, you'll be able to allocate those dollars. Usually it's 80% of the dollars that you receive will go to out of school youth or, and 20% will go to in-school youth. But we have some time to negotiate what that's going to look like for us. And we want to make sure that we're making the best, we're approaching this in the best way possible. So more to come on that for sure. The up to amount is here, the 2 million plus, and it's available for the program year, July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. And then there is options for extensions or renewals, if you will. We also place the state EXA funds or CRF. I'm not sure if you all are too familiar with that, but if you go to the website, you're able to kind of understand what some of the state EXA funds are. EXA is Economic Security for All, and the CRF or CRP, as some folks call it, is the Community Reinvestment Fund. So there's a TBD there because we aren't sure how we want to or how much is going to be available, but there have been some current partnerships and kind of braided funding opportunities with our youth programs as of now. So we want to explore a little bit more, on what those funds can do and how they could support the WIOA dollars, because 2 million is not a lot of funds when you start to break it down, but we want to be able to build out other braided funding opportunities. So definitely more to come on that. Eligibility for those who apply. So this is open to nonprofit organizations, faith-based organizations, educational institutions. We'd love to get proposals from all of these different types of entities, so that we have a really good, diverse, robust selection or pool. So the WDC recognizes that smaller community-based organizations with distinct expertise in working with individuals who are farthest from opportunity may not have the capacity to manage funding and data collection. So we do encourage that you join or form a consortium to partner with. And again, absolutely make sure that that information is in the chat. I will definitely send out the attendees list so that you have that available for yourselves too, to partner with different organizations so that you ensure you have um, a solid basis for how you're going to do this work going forward. So it's broken up into two different ways that you can apply. You can apply as a sole organization, or you can apply as a partnership consortium. And I'll get into a little bit more about what that may look like from where we're going now with this, making sure that we have an anchor provider, if you will. So that provider where they oversee most of the heavy lifting, I would say, of the program. Okay, some of the other requirements that we want for this RFP is to demonstrate your experience with serving BIPOC communities and integrated social services, um, that your board and just internal employees reflect the community that you're serving, delivery to delivering quality work readiness or soft skills, essential skills, and then job retention approaches, facilitating participant linkages to critical work supports, barrier removal, um, and just collaborating with community and business partners. And then demonstrated experience centering equity and advancing race conscious policies, programs, and services. Okay, so this is the program design piece for the youth eligibility. So as I mentioned, you will be applying for both in school and out of school. In school is these two requirements here. You must meet the 14 to 21 and attending school and be a low income individual, and then also meet one of the, I think it's 8 other bullets there as well. And then just also to know that in school does not just, it's not limited to K-12, K through 12. So you can absolutely, enroll someone who is enrolled in Highline and they're still considered in school youth. And then out of school youth is, not attending any school and defined as 16 to 24 at the time of enrollment. Um, Contrary to, a lot of there's some questions that have come in about, do they have to be a high school dropout? And the answer to that is no, they must meet one of the other requirements here or the bulleted requirements here. So it is not limited either to just one specific condition. So if they're experiencing any of these other conditions or, um, qualifications for eligibility, they are able to be enrolled in the program. Oh, I can see a couple of questions popping through there. So that's really good. I'll try to answer some of these questions that I have like immediate answers to once we roll through. I got about, I want to say 6 more slides to complete, and then I'll get to some questions if I can. So program design, this is pretty much, I would call this kind of like the sequence of services. So you start out with outreach, recruitment, and orientation, intake, eligibility, registration. So basically what we just saw in the previous slide, objective assessment and referral, individualized service strategy. So that's really honing in on what the youth, what they're how you're going to navigate with the youth through either their educational or their career goals. Service strategies, just, it's kind of a timeline on when you plan to do those things, incorporating those 14 elements, case management from, enrollment to exit and beyond, if you will. And then access to the range of services, which is these 14 elements. And that's also on page 15 of the RFP. It was quite a few, so I didn't want to list those all out here. And then very important, the follow-up services too, because for youth, they're still able to receive quite a few services while they are in follow-up, and we want to help support them beyond just, them either getting their dream job or entering into post-secondary. So the program core tracks, so I mentioned this as well, is, and because we have the 2 million, I think the question came up and it kind of popped through there, but I wasn't able to solely pay attention to the entirety of the question. But These are the three tracks that we are focusing on. So you can apply as an individual agency, sole agency, where you're applying for the minimum of 500K. And that track could be that you are focusing on post-secondary and re-engagement support, or you're focusing on work-based learning and apprenticeship opportunities, or you want to apply as the lead agency where you have full program oversight and you are supporting the other two anchors of the program. So or the other two organizations. So you'd be, kind of supporting those organizations in whether it be the case management processes, the fiscal piece of this, and just the overall design of the program. You'd be able to do that. So I hope that sheds some light on what that looks like. The up to amount of organizations that we are estimating would be about three, just because 500K is a that's a good, I mean, that's a good chunk of dollars to really be able to support youth and be able to have a successful program. So we definitely want to make sure that we aren't over awarding, and then it's not necessarily feasible for you to have, to be able to have a successful program. So I'll just leave that at that. Okay, so the application process. This is the good part. So if you go on the website, seekingwdc.org, there's a funding page. Click on that funding page just to review again the RFP, all of the attachments that are required, and then the timelines for each of the different steps in there, and then just the overall objective and understanding of what the RFP is. Again, all organizations that bid must submit bids for each proposal by February 18th. At the end of the day, applicants will only be accepted from bidders who submit by the date. And again, just to re-stress this, make sure that you have all of the 5 documents or forms, checklists included in your proposal and that they are filled out. Okay, so I do the proposal scoring criteria, the total points is 100 points. I am getting there an update to the website. There was some bonus points articulated in the RFP. We will not have bonus points this year, so that is being removed, and hopefully that report, I didn't check it this morning, but the new RFP will be updated here soon. So my apologies for that. I will definitely ensure that it is updated, but it in the RFP, it is not included in the scoring criteria or the total amount of points that you could receive. So I'll just go over what that looks like. So organization description here, demonstrated effectiveness, implementation plan, planned outcomes, budget and cost proposals. So it's a full 100 points and 100 points only. Okay, so once we collect all of the proposals, we'll start the compliance review. All of the applications will go through the same type of evaluation, rating system, and notification process. We'll have a rating committee that will go through each of the proposals or applications, and then they follow this standard scoring rubric. And then the raters also can include our board members, youth development experts, and staff from other workforce areas. There's a selection process that goes up to our WCDC Workforce Board, and they give us the final approval, and then the board action will come out. We'll have the applicants will be notified of the board's decision. And then if you want to appeal, you have 7 days to appeal from the notice of the award decision. And then we go into negotiations and contracting. And that again begins July 1 and goes through June 30th, 2026. So a little bit of time for Q&A here. So again, just if you have any more questions, if you go back and maybe review this recording or are going through the RFP and you just have some questions that you want to ask, please do so at the same place that you are going to submit your proposals, which would be proposals at seekingwdc.org. Um, check the WDC website or any type of updates or information. And then the key dates are just here one more time so that you have those. And I do want to say that there is no systems that we're using or all proposals will be received via email. So no portals or anything like that. Just make sure that you have all of your attachments when you're sending in your proposals. So I am going to try to review. Is it the chat? I can see Q&A. I am very used to Zoom, so I am looking at a couple of questions that are in the chat. I think there was a question about what's going on with Congress and how this will affect the funding. So we are pressing on right now. We don't have a lot of like fully determined answers on where we're going. With these grants or the funds that we're receiving right now from the Department of Labor. So we are moving forward as though we are, business as usual, which is really, really hard to say based on the things that are happening. But we don't want to be in a position where we're waiting and then we aren't able to move forward, with awarding and things like that. So I haven't heard any information right now, but as soon as I do, I will definitely upload any information on our Q&A uh, site as well. So this question will also be included in that as well.
Sheena, there are a couple of questions asking whether the slide deck will be available and also the recording of the video will be available. So just wanted to flag those.
Yes, yes. The recording will be available once we close out today. So in about another 30 minutes here, and then we'll upload that. I'll give it to the end of the day. I don't want to give one of my colleagues more work for the end of the day, but yeah, it'll be uploaded as soon as possible on the website for viewing. Yes, okay, yeah. I think yeah, this one question to confirm applicant must serve both out of school and in school with their proposed project. Yes, yes, it is for serving both populations there. Sorry, I'm just going through a couple of these questions, but while I am doing that, Danny, are you on the call? I want to give space for our um partner, Danny or Michael. I saw
I
you come
am on
off
the
of mute.
call. Yes.
Oh,
Hello.
good.
Yeah, we're
Perfect.
here.
All right. Yay. Okay. Yeah, I do want to give you all time to present. And pass you the baton while I try to feel through some of these calls and get them answered during the presentation after we're done here, because I am very pleased that we have 30 minutes left, or 29 right now. So
Awesome.
Yeah,
if
that's
you need to,
awesome.
I'm going to stop sharing and you can take over.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
before we get started, while Danny pulls up the presentation, Sheena, just for clarification points. So
Mhm.
while we're presenting, you'll be responding to those questions in the chat, and then if folks have questions about this brief presentation that we give, do we have the time to answer some of those questions for folks if they're curious?
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
you can definitely do that. And if any come through the proposals website, or I'm sorry, the email, I will also send those questions right over to you all.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So Danny will start just to highlight the opportunity, and I'll chime in towards the end, and then we'll create some space to answer questions for folks. My name is Michael Carter. I'm the Climate and Workforce Manager inside the King County Executive Climate Office, and I'll let Danny introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danny. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm the JumpStart project manager here inside the King County Executive Climate Office. Confirming you all can see my screen.
We can see it.
Ah, perfect. All right, yeah, so we'll quickly go through this and highlight this opportunity. Thank you to Sheena and the WDC team for inviting us here. It's the Prezi. All right. So a little overview of our JumpStart model. So JumpStart is a new program we launched last year. We are a connection program in the clean energy trades, construction trades space and workforce development. And so the unique thing about our program is we as King County are providing a connection opportunity between training programs that already exist, largely pre-apprenticeship and job readiness training programs, and our employer network, the JumpStart Contractor Network, to provide work-based learning opportunities in the clean energy construction trades. We specifically have an emphasis focusing on HVAC, solar, electrical, weatherization, and other green building construction trades. And so we specifically serve young people ages 18 to 24. So a lot of overlap with this WOA youth. We don't serve people under the age of 18 in our program. The way this works is we refer folks to enroll in a partner training program, pre-apprenticeship, to get their industry recognized certifications and credentials. And then after they successfully complete that program, they complete climate and clean energy workshops through us and enroll as a King County employee. That's how the program is currently structured. And then we match them with one of our partner host sites to get that 240 hours of work experience. And then we continue to work with them. A lot of them are hired on site at the employer we match them with. And if they are not, we continue to work with them to support their career journey and offer them employment on ramps through application clinics, hiring events, and labor apprenticeship applications. So we work with our JumpStart Contractor Network of employers to provide these work experience opportunities. Our contractors have incentives to join our network as we work in the larger King County Executive Climate Office in King County. We're able to offer opportunities for contractors to have access to workshops, project info sessions, networking events, and other incentives to keep them engaged while they're also providing this work experience and gaining access to their next best employee. So this is just a brief overview of some of the employers that are in our network currently. So you see we have a wide variety of companies working in solar, HVAC, King County as one of our host sites, some construction manufacturing, and we are continuing to grow the network and expand into areas like plumbing, manufacturing, wastewater, and other areas that we see are growing and are highly related to sustainability in the construction trades.
As well as project management. Some folks
As
don't
well as
want to be
project
on a
management.
roof.
Oh, yes, I didn't touch
Yes.
on that at all. With some of these companies, I'll highlight Omnidian there. They are exclusively a customer and technical support for people who have solar panels on their roofs. So that is 100% remote placement for folks who are interested in office roles. So we also partner with training programs that provide more general job readiness skills and are preparing folks for the project management, customer service, marketing skill set as well.
Yeah, everybody doesn't want to be on a roof installing solar. Some folks
I don't
want
wanna
to
be on
fight
a roof.
climate change from the office. So we
It's
have
cold outside.
opportunities for those folks too.
Yeah. And so we have a really high focus on serving frontline communities. Frontline communities is a term we use here in the Climate Office to talk about folks who are impacted first and worst by climate change. So thinking about our diverse communities who potentially live in communities that have infrastructure that is going to be really impacted by extreme weather events, extreme heat. And so a lot of our projects that we place these job sites on are projects that are focused on making improvements to these communities to make them more resilient to the impacts of climate change. So our project Energize out of the King County Executive Climate Office, all of our Energize contractors are hosting these training opportunities for young people on these job sites. So they are working on projects that are taking place within their own communities and are making their own communities more resilient. And these are high quality job opportunities. There's a lot of growth in the construction trades. I think the WDC's regional strategy highlighted construction as one of their key strategy or key sectors that you all are looking for. And so there's a lot of wage growth opportunities as you're getting into these entry level roles in HVAC, electrical, plumbing, manufacturing. You start, at the entry level, but there's lots of opportunity for career growth in these fields.
So if you don't mind me interrupting for a hot
Yeah,
second,
go for
Danny, if we look at that previous slide, myself, I was a WIOA program operator for a number of years, and I know it can be difficult to sometimes to meet that 20% requirement for paid WEX placements. So this is really an opportunity to connect folks directly to climate projects that are happening in King County and the surrounding region to access that paid WEX opportunity. So not only are they getting money in their pocket, work experience on their resume, but they're also getting opportunity to participate on projects that directly affect members of frontline communities who are disproportionately impacted by climate change. So this is like a new way of kind of looking at that WEX. How do we connect WEX to ongoing county projects that have that climate focus? So I did want to emphasize that for folks, but take it away, Danny.
Yes, and so as folks join our program, they are required to go through one of our partner training programs. Currently, we have 7 partner training programs in the network, with our main one being Seattle Central College's PACT program. That's a pre-apprenticeship program. Most of these are pre-apprenticeship programs. We have Emerald City's HVAC Prep, Youth Care's Youth Build program, which is also a GED attainment program, Seattle Public Schools, which is an in-school trades pre-apprenticeship, Silent Task Force down in Skyway. They have a new pre-apprenticeship called Core Roots, a new pre-apprenticeships, and then the Urban League's Career Bridge program. And just an overview, we launched our first cohorts. They officially started on work sites, I believe, in June 2024. We have 100% of participants successfully completing their required prerequisite training program, 83% of participants successfully completing their work-based learning with their employer host site, and 53% of participants obtaining employment in the field within 3 months of completion.
Yeah, so I just want to take an opportunity to highlight why we're here and why we think it's a good opportunity to connect with folks who are applying for the youth RFP specifically. So I think where our value add is as an agency is the ability to connect folks directly to high quality paid WEX opportunities. So I think you noticed in Sheena's presentation, there was an emphasis on improving the job quality for folks that are accessing these WEX opportunities, particularly for out of school youth, because that's the only folks that we serve. So I look at partnering with JumpStart as an opportunity to really elevate the level of paid WEX opportunities that we're offering. You know, we're not sending folks to McDonald's or things like that. Like, we're making sure they access high quality opportunities that have a career path. And also, I think someone asked this question, but I'll answer it here as well. The pay that we require is $25 an hour for 240 hours, which is roughly $6,000. 240 hours is about 6 weeks full time or 12 weeks part time. So it's a serious opportunity for someone to get a foothold in emerging industries and sectors. So I think, you know, as we look at the points for implementation plans for this youth RFP application, you know, this is a good resource for folks to say, hey, we're taking a serious look at the quality of opportunities that we're conducting our out of school youth to, while providing an opportunity to participate on King County projects. I do want to highlight a couple of things that are listed in these bullet points. The first thing is we do have some eligibility requirements. Folks have to have a high school diploma, they have to have access to transportation, and they have to be within that 18 to 24 range. And they also have to partner to get some certifications of some sort before they step into that paid work-based learning opportunity. But 9 times out of 10, if you're running an out-of-school youth program, you have trainings, you have certifications that you're offering youth, so we can kind of make that connection to make sure that they're prepared to step onto a work site. The next thing I would highlight, the bullet around coordinated case management and the structure of WEX payments. So we're offering kind of an open door to opportunities for partners within our JumpStart network. We are offering coordinated case management, light touch case management focused on employment. So our case management team will focus on how do we make sure that the youth that you refer to us successfully complete their paid work-based learning opportunity. We have a 83% success rate. That's really high for opportunities like this. And then we'll also do that light touch case management to make sure that they transition into a high quality employment opportunity afterwards. And, you know, there's a focus on outcomes when it comes to WIOS. I think that there's a value add there. In terms of the structure of the WEX payments, the payments for WEX come from the existing contract that you would have with WDC. Like, we don't cover the cost of that. Y'all would need to cover the cost of that. We're kind of the bridge or the connector to the opportunity, but we're not covering those costs. That being said, if this is something that you would like to do, if you'd like to partner with us, what I would recommend is highlighting and uplifting the desire to partner inside your application. And then folks who are granted funds, they would engage in an MOU with us to kind of outline how many folks that they will refer to us within a time period and what that WEC structure would look like. So that's kind of the next steps in the process. And that's for folks that are able to successfully access the WDC funding. So those are just overarching highlight of the opportunity. And I want to highlight this photo. Oh, it disappeared. That's fine. Maybe we could bring it back for a hot second. Ah, there we go. Perfect. I do want to highlight this photo. This photo, these are the employers in our network. These are the youth in our network. These are the staff that make this happen, along with former Governor Inslee. And I wanted to show this because I wanted to make sure folks knew that this is a program that is not just King County focused and focused just on, the folks who sit in an office like Danny and myself. This is a very community connected program. We could not make it happen without the training providers that work with us, without the employers that are committed to us, and without the youth that actively participate and engage in these programs. So I did want to highlight that. And with that, I want to create a little bit of space for folks that have questions. I tried to do my best to answer questions that were in the chat, but I'll take a quick look. But I'm a conversationalist, so if folks want to come off mute and ask a question, I would jump at that opportunity to answer questions in that format for folks. But I will take a quick look if anything popped up. I know Alejandra asked a great question around pay rate that I answered. So I think
Lauren had a question. Yes, if this is a program for the pathway participants going to college, not a program for, yes, our participants do not have 4-year degrees. That is actually our main focus is middle school workers who do not have 4-year degrees.
Yeah, so we really are focusing on 18 to 24-year-olds, specifically out of school youth that want to transition directly into the workforce. But we're not opposed on a case-by-case basis for working with someone that has a plan for college later on. That's also a part of their plan to enter the workforce. I would say that. And then Trina had a question: how many cohorts can join in each venture? 20% requirement for what? So for Trina, the 20% requirement is like 20% of the funds that are issued through this RFP have to go to what's called WEX, which is work experience, which is the facilitation of paid work-based learning opportunities for youth to work with employers to get money in their pocket, experience on their resume to advantage them and when they go into the workforce. And then the first question you asked is how many cohorts can join in each venture. So great question. For folks that are receiving the funds, we will craft MOUs to reflect how many folks that they want to refer and how many open slots we have available throughout the coming years. And then I see a question from Micheline. If so, Micheline here, we work together at Shoreline. I would love to know what you are up to I think that might be a question for somebody else, but I'm not sure. So Micheline, you let me know if that's for us. And I think that is all the questions that I see. Thanks, folks.
All right. Thank you so much, Danny and Michael. Really appreciate you being here and sharing out this wonderful opportunity. I do want to emphasize, I think there were some questions about, yes, the 20% expenditure and can you, use this, this partnership is a great way to utilize that 20% expenditure. You'll be able to partner with King County and be able to use those funds. So, are you able to? So I'm not sure if you're able to. Can't take. Can you take yourselves off mute? I see a hand up, but oh, there we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yep.
All right. Good morning. My name is Bridget O. Michaels. My question is, I have a nonprofit and a for-profit, and I wanted to find out if is it okay for me to be able to apply through both?
You can apply. Yes.
Yeah. Because the reason
You
I
can apply.
ask is that my nonprofit also has a detailed out of school and in school program for youth.
Mhm.
And that's why, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, you
Okay.
can apply. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I also throw
Okay.
it in chat just in case anybody's listening to me. I'm open for partnership and collaboration because I love to really partner with people. Thank you.
Yes, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. I also before we all jump out, there's some questions on here that I definitely want to answer, and put up on the website so that everyone is able to view those questions, and consolidate some of them as well. But what I do want to offer you, I plan on having some in-person kind of town hall events. And I would love to be able to invite you all. I hope you're open to that type of thing. And if you are, please, pop that in the chat as well. You'll probably see an invite from me. Also, kind of just registering for that as well, because the partnership with Michael and Danny over at King County, I mean, that's really what we want to do, going forward, is to try to create space for us to just talk about the commonalities that we have, or, as we're serving youth, trying to broaden our reach for youth, and then really just learn about everyone else's, specialties, and who's the subject matter experts on different things, so that when we're doing this work, it's just a concerted effort. So I will definitely be sending out some information on that. I definitely have some really good questions in the chat that I want to answer. We're not recording right now, because we went over about 15 minutes. So I want to be able to make sure that I'm following all of my little rules that I have when answering these questions, so that everyone hears the same thing. So if anybody wants to, maybe come off mute and just, say hello, or offer, any type of services or collaboration or anything like that, they can do so. But I will be, oh, it's 1:15. Okay. So we're an hour and 15, a little 15 minutes over. So I will, I'll close it out now. And I think the next time this happens, I'll definitely lengthen this a little bit more so that we have more time. But yes, do not hesitate to email the proposals, email. So if you have more questions or just input or any questions for the folks at King County as well. I thank you all so much, and I look forward to talking to you soon.